Hey everyone, James Dake from Grass River Natural Area. For today's microclass, we are paddling the Grass River in winter. Join me. Now before we get going, let's talk a bit about safety. Paddling in the wintertime can be extremely dangerous. So you'll see, today I'm wearing a full dry suit, which keeps me dry and warm, even if I were to fall in the water. It has gaskets on the neck and the wrists, and everything is waterproof. I'm also wearing a personal flotation device at all times, which is essential. I'm also carrying with me a first aid kit. I have a paddle float in the case I were to fall out of my kayak. It helps me to get back into my kayak. I'm also carrying a cell phone and a dry bag. Dry bags are great to keep really important things dry while you're on the water. I've also let some of the other staff know I was heading out in a paddle, so they know where I am. I also have waterproof gloves on. I'm carrying a pump so that if water is to get in my kayak, I can pump it back out. I also have a rope, which is a thrower rope, which is great for rescue, but it's also just handy to have a rope on you anyway. Now they say there's a general rule that called the rule of 120, that between the water temperature and the air temperature should add up to 120. If it's below that, you need to wear a dry suit. Now right now it's pretty obvious that if you were to add the water temperature and the air temperature, it would be below 120. But in the springtime and the fall, some of the most dangerous times, because people don't realize how cold the water is. So you always need to dress for as if you were to go for a swim. So when May comes around and maybe the water temperature is up to 50, maybe it's a nice 60-degree day, you're still below that 120. So you need to make sure that you have something like a dry suit to keep you protected from those cold temperatures. Here we go. Most of you know this overlook from the boardwalk here. But just up the river, there's over 2 miles of wild river that's natural area on both sides. Blue jays. So that's where we're headed. Let's take a look. There are 2 bald eagles perched on top of this white pine. Let's swing around this way and see if we can get a couple photos. Now up ahead there's a river otter bankside den that they've been using this winter. We'll paddle up, see if we can see any tracks right along the edge. Otters this time of year like to use the river because it remains open. We'll also use Clam Lake and Lake Bel Air along the edges of the ice and some of the faster moving creeks. And here we are. Let's take a look. Now, river otter dens often have more than one entrance, and there's another underwater entrance here. Let me take the camera and see if you can see it. So if you can see that, there's an underwater hole there right on the bank, which gives the otters another entrance. The other one is behind me, and there's likely another one further back into the woods. trumpeter swans up ahead. Stay off to the side here as we get close. Trumpeter swans are threatened in the state of Michigan. We once lost them in the state, but thanks to reintroduction, they're here again. But they are still protected. Let's see if I can get some shots of them. Oh, they're taking off. Coming this way. Here they come. Wow. One of North America's largest and heaviest birds. Let's just take a moment and listen to how quiet it is out here. Behind me is a small beaver lodge. This time of year, the beavers are likely inside hanging out and staying warm, but they will come out occasionally to get some food. And what they do is they've kept a storage of branches wedged down in the mud underwater. They did that in the fall. They'll come out their underwater entrance, swim down, grab the sticks, keeps them in the mud, keeps them from getting frozen, and they'll bring those back inside the lodge for a little snack throughout the winter. Soon, once things start to thaw out, we'll see the beavers out and active again. Alright, we're coming up to Cold Creek here. We're going to take a temperature check of the water real fast here. I have a thermometer. First, let's check the temperature of Grass River. Right now it says it's just barely above freezing, about 33 degrees. So this is very, very cold water. Now we're going to paddle into Cold Creek and see what the temperature is there. What do you think? Is Cold Creek going to be warmer or colder? Let's find out. Alright, let's stop and take a temperature here in Cold Creek. Right now, Cold Creek is reading about 35 or 36 degrees, so it's actually warmer than the river. This is the one time of the year where Cold Creek is warmer than the river. That's because Cold Creek, Finch Creek, and Shanty Creek are all spring-fed, and the water is coming from groundwater underground. So this time of year, that water is actually a little bit warmer than water up here on the surface. Whereas Grass River is being fed from Lake Bel Air, which is open, it loses its heat more quickly. And right now, Lake Bel Air is pretty frozen, so all that water flowing from Lake Bel Air into Grass River is right near freezing. While the creek here is faster moving, it's fed from underground, and that water stays slightly warmer. In the summertime, those switch. Grass River gets very, very warm because it's out in the open. It soaks up heat from Lake Bel Air. It gets very, very warm, nice swimming weather in the summertime. Whereas if you come into Cold Creek in the middle of summer, it feels pretty icy cold. It stays 45 to 55 degrees most of the summertime. So it's a nice place to cool off on a hot day. Here we are. Thanks for joining me.